hurt you, they disrespected you, they betrayed your trust. And ever since, something inside you hasn't been quiet. Your mind replays the moment. Your heart tightens at the memory. And a part of you wants justice or revenge. But before we go any further, pause with me for just a moment. If this message resonates with you, if you believe wisdom should spread, not anger, then take a second to subscribe and share this video. Not for me, but because someone else out there is silently fighting the same emotional battle you are. Now let's begin. Revenge feels powerful at first. It promises relief. It whispers, if they feel pain too, I'll finally be free. But the Stoics, ancient masters of the human mind, saw something deeper. They understood a truth most people never realize until it's too late. Revenge does not free you. It chains you to the very person who hurt you. And the more you react, the more power you hand over. Stoicism teaches that real strength is not loud, it is not emotional, it is not reactive. Real strength is quiet, controlled, unshakable. This is where most people fail, and where you begin to rise. The first Stoic truth: you are not hurt by events, but by judgments. Epictetus said something that sounds simple, but changes everything. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Read that again. Slowly. The insult didn't destroy your peace. The betrayal didn't steal your power. Your interpretation did. This doesn't mean what they did was right. It means something far more important. Your emotional suffering is optional. And once you understand that, you become dangerous in the best possible way. Why people want a reaction from you? When someone hurts you, they expect something in return. Anger, sadness, chaos. Your reaction validates their influence over you. The moment you explode, they win. The moment you obsess, they live rent-free in your mind. And this is why the Stoics chose a weapon far more devastating than confrontation: indifference. Not weakness, not avoidance, but emotional independence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Let that sink in. You do not defeat darkness by becoming dark. You defeat it by refusing to participate. Emotional control is not suppression, it is dominance. Many people misunderstand Stoicism. They think it means feeling nothing. That is false. Stoics feel deeply, but they refuse to be ruled by emotion. Anger is not strength, it is loss of command. When anger controls you, you are no longer free. You are reacting, you are predictable, you are manipulable. And Stoics despised one thing above all else: being controlled by external forces. The Stoic divide what you can and cannot control. This is where your power truly begins. You cannot control what people do. You cannot control what they say. You cannot control their intentions. But you can control your response, your focus, your standards, your character. Every second you spend replaying their actions, you abandon your own growth. And the Stoics would ask you one hard question: why give power to someone who has already proven they don't deserve it? A quiet shift begins. This is where the transformation starts, not with rage, not with revenge, but with clarity. You stop explaining yourself, you stop proving your worth, you stop seeking closure from people who caused the wound. And something strange happens. The noise fades, the mind clears, and your energy returns to you. This is only the beginning. There is something deeply unsettling about silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the silence that follows when someone expects a reaction and gets nothing. No argument, no explanation, no emotional display. Just calm. This is not avoidance, this is control. And very few people ever master it. Why silence is more powerful than words. Most people believe they need the last word. They think closure comes from confrontation. But Stoic wisdom teaches the opposite. When you argue, you descend to their level. When you explain, you seek permission. When you react, you surrender power. Silence, however, does something far more effective. It removes oxygen from the fire. People who hurt others often rely on emotional feedback. Your anger reassures them they mattered. Your sadness confirms their impact. But silence leaves a void. And the human ego cannot tolerate a void. They begin to question themselves. They replay their actions. They wonder why you moved on so easily. That internal discomfort is far more punishing than anything you could say. Stoic detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. Let's be clear about something important. Stoic detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding for people who cut you. It means you no longer attach your peace to external approval. Epictetus taught that freedom begins the moment you stop trying to control what was never yours to control. Other people's opinions are not yours. Their behavior is not yours. Their failures are not your responsibility. When you emotionally detach, you don't become weaker, you become untouchable. Why success is the loudest response. Here is a truth most people don't want to admit. Nothing unsettles those who doubted you more than watching you thrive without them. Not revenge, not explanations, not public validation. Just progress. Marcus Aurelius believed that the ultimate proof of inner strength was living well, regardless of circumstances. Success done quietly carries a unique kind of weight. You don't announce it. You don't weaponize it. You simply become better, stronger, calmer, wiser. And the irony is this. They expected your collapse, but instead, you evolved. That realization lingers in their mind far longer than any insult ever would. Turning pain into discipline. Stoics never wasted pain. Where others spiraled, they refined themselves. Where others complained, they trained. Pain in Stoic philosophy is raw material. It can either break you or build something formidable. Every time you choose discipline over emotional release, you strengthen your inner authority. You wake up earlier, you work with focus, you sharpen your mind, you refine your character. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, your life begins to rise above the level of those who tried to pull you down. The moment they lose all power over you, there comes a moment, quiet, subtle, but decisive. You think about them and feel nothing. No anger, no sadness, no desire for validation. Just distance. This is not numbness, this is freedom. The Stoics believed this state was the highest form of victory, because at that point, your peace no longer depends on another human being. You are self-governed, self-contained, self-directed. And nothing is more intimidating than someone who cannot be emotionally provoked. Anger is not your enemy. That may surprise you. Most people are taught to either explode with anger or suppress it until it poisons them from the inside. The Stoics chose a third path. They studied anger the way a general studies the battlefield, not emotionally, but strategically. Because once you understand anger, it loses its power to command you. Why anger feels so justified? Anger often disguises itself as justice. It says, "They were wrong. I deserve better. They should pay." And sometimes, it's right. But Stoic wisdom asks a harder question. Does this emotion improve my character or consume it? Seneca warned that anger, even when justified, often punishes the one who holds it more than the one who caused it. Anger clouds judgment, it narrows perspective, it rushes decisions. And rushed decisions shape lives. The Stoic method for disarming anger. The Stoics did not fight anger head-on, they delayed it. Delay is power. The moment you feel anger rise, pause, not for minutes, for breaths. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. That brief pause interrupts the emotional surge. It creates space for reason to return. And reason, to the Stoic, was sacred. Reframing betrayal through Stoic eyes. Betrayal cuts deeply because it violates expectation. You trusted, you believed, you assumed character where there was convenience. The Stoics did not romanticize human nature. They expected imperfection, they anticipated selfishness, they prepared for disappointment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he would encounter envy, arrogance, dishonesty, and cruelty, not because the world was broken, but because humans were flawed. This expectation was not pessimism, it was emotional armor. When betrayal occurs, the Stoic response is not shock, it is recognition. They acted according to their nature. I will act according to mine. Forgiveness is not required. Freedom is. Stoicism does not demand forgiveness. This is important. You are not obligated to absolve those who harmed you, but you are responsible for what you carry forward. Holding resentment is like gripping a blade, hoping someone else feels the pain. Freedom comes not from forgiving them, but from releasing your dependence on their actions. When you stop replaying the past, you reclaim your present. And when you reclaim your present, the future opens. The inner war is the only war that matters. Stoics believed every human fight exists on 2 levels: the external conflict and the internal one. Lose the inner war, and no external victory matters. Win it, and external events lose their grip on you. This is why Stoicism focuses relentlessly on character, because reputation is external, wealth is external, approval is external. But character is yours alone, and no one can steal it without your consent. Anger is not your enemy. That may surprise you. Most people are taught to either explode with anger or suppress it until it poisons them from the inside. The Stoics chose a third path. They studied anger the way a general studies the battlefield, not emotionally, but strategically. Because once you understand anger, it loses its power to command you. Why anger feels so justified? Anger often disguises itself as justice. It says, "They were wrong. I deserve better. They should pay." And sometimes, it's right. But Stoic wisdom asks a harder question. Does this emotion improve my character or consume it? Seneca warned that anger, even when justified, often punishes the one who holds it more than the one who caused it. Anger clouds judgment, it narrows perspective, it rushes decisions. and rushed decisions shape lives. The Stoic method for disarming anger. The Stoics did not fight anger head-on. They delayed it. Delay is power. The moment you feel anger rise, pause, not for minutes, for breaths. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. That brief pause interrupts the emotional surge. It creates space for reason to return. And reason, to the Stoic, was sacred. Reframing betrayal through Stoic eyes. Betrayal cuts deeply because it violates expectation. You trusted, you believed, you assumed character where there was convenience. The Stoics did not romanticize human nature. They expected imperfection. They anticipated selfishness. They prepared for disappointment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he would encounter envy, arrogance, dishonesty, and cruelty, not because the world was broken, but because humans were flawed. This expectation was not pessimism, it was emotional armor. When betrayal occurs, the Stoic response is not shock, it is recognition. They acted according to their nature. I will act according to mine. Forgiveness is not required. Freedom is. Stoicism does not demand forgiveness. This is important. You are not obligated to absolve those who harmed you, but you are responsible for what you carry forward. Holding resentment is like gripping a blade, hoping someone else feels the pain. Freedom comes not from forgiving them, but from releasing your dependence on their actions. When you stop replaying the past, you reclaim your present. And when you reclaim your present, the future opens. The inner war is the only war that matters. Stoics believed every human fight exists on 2 levels. The external conflict and the internal one. Lose the inner war, and no external victory matters. Win it, and external events lose their grip on you. This is why Stoicism focuses relentlessly on character, because reputation is external, wealth is external, approval is external. But character is yours alone, and no one can steal it without your consent. There is a moment in every serious inner journey when you realize something profound. You no longer want revenge. Not because you became weak, but because you became whole. Revenge requires attention, energy, emotional investment. And you finally understand your life is too valuable to spend reacting. Emotional invincibility without isolation. One of the greatest misconceptions about strength is that it requires distance from everyone. The Stoics never taught withdrawal from life. They taught engagement without attachment. You can care deeply without surrendering control. You can love fully without losing yourself. Stoicism is not emotional numbness, it is emotional sovereignty. You stop expecting others to behave according to your standards, and in doing so, you stop being disappointed by their failures. The point where others become irrelevant. This is not cruelty, this is clarity. When someone no longer influences your mood, they no longer control you. You don't erase them from memory, you remove them from importance. They stop being a reference point. Your life becomes self-directed. The Stoics believed that dependence on external validation was the fastest path to suffering. So they trained themselves to be internally complete. What true victory actually looks like. True victory is not humiliation of the other. It is not proving a point. It is not being seen. True victory is waking up at peace. It is acting according to your values, even when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while reminding himself that power over others meant nothing without power over the self. This is the Stoic definition of success: alignment between thought, action, and character. Peace is the final form of power. Here is the quiet truth few ever reach. When you are truly at peace, you cannot be provoked. You cannot be manipulated. You cannot be pulled backward. Peace is not passive, it is fortified. It is built through discipline, self-honesty, and relentless inner work. And once you have it, nothing external can take it from you. A final Stoic reflection. You were never meant to be consumed by what hurt you. You were meant to outgrow it. Not loudly, not dramatically, but completely. The Stoic path is not about winning against others. It is about winning yourself. At some point, the need to explain disappears. You stop rehearsing conversations that will never happen. You stop waiting for apologies that will never come. And without realizing it, you step forward. This is the quiet victory the Stoics spoke of. Not applause, not recognition, but release. What it means to truly move on. Moving on is not forgetting. It is remembering, without emotional charge. It is being able to look back without your body tightening or your breath changing. The Stoics understood that memory itself is neutral. It is the attachment that wounds us. Once the attachment dissolves, the past loses authority. And authority returns to where it belongs, within you. The lifestyle of inner discipline. Stoicism is not something you turn on only when life becomes painful. It is a daily discipline. How you wake up, how you speak, how you respond, how you let things go. Small choices shape emotional strength. Each time you choose restraint over reaction, clarity over chaos, character over comfort, you reinforce your inner foundation. And over time, that foundation becomes unshakable. You no longer need to prove anything. One of the most freeing realizations is this: you do not need to be understood by those who chose not to understand you. You do not need to be validated by those who underestimated you. You do not need closure from those who caused the wound. Your growth is the closure. And growth does not announce itself, it shows. The Stoic promise. The promise of Stoicism is not a life without hardship. It is a life without unnecessary suffering. Pain may visit, loss may arrive, people may disappoint. But none of these things need to own you. When you master yourself, the world loses its ability to shake you. A final moment of stillness. Before this video ends, pause with me for a moment. Take a breath, not to escape the world, but to return to yourself. Whatever hurt you, whatever tested you, whatever tried to pull you down, it does not define you. How you rise from it does. If this message helped you find clarity, share it with someone who may need it. Not to convince them, but to remind them that peace is possible. Live with discipline. Act with intention. Guard your inner world. Because the greatest revenge was never revenge at all. It was becoming unbreakable. Stay connected to this channel. Subscribe to the channel, not for motivation, but for wisdom that makes you calm in chaos, steady under pressure, and impossible to manipulate.